Sheffield United 0, Tottenham 3. Welcome into the season finale, technically, even though this isn't the last episode. Welcome into the season finale recap of Top of the Perch. I'm your host, as always, Nick Burt. Tottenham walk away with a resounding 3-0 victory against already relegated Sheffield United on the final day of the 2023-24 Premier League season. And what a season it has been. Tottenham, it was mostly good up until the very end when it became very rocky. All of that recap stuff to come later. But we did have a game today. And what a game it was. Truly nothing less than a win was expected. And that's how it played out. I mean, Sheffield had one good opportunity in this game, and it was in the second minute on a counterattack. They took a fantastic shot inside the box against Vicario. It was one-on-one, and it didn't amount to anything. It was a good shot above Vicario. I believe their second opportunity was in the 10th minute, and there wasn't really anything else left in this game. For Sheffield United, that is. As in the 10th minute, the shot was a nice cross into the box. It was a good deflection. It goes off the post, not a play, but it was in the 14th minute off of a Sheffield United turnover and a great defensive play by Mickey van de Ven, who got it to, I believe it went to Madison, and then it went to Dejan Kulusevski, who was at the top of the box. Shoots it, slides it past Wes Fotheringham, the Sheffield United goalkeeper, and Tottenham have a 1-0 lead just 14 minutes into this game. And I personally asked myself this question: where has this Kulusevski been since basically December? He was a major playmaker out there for Tottenham today. Just fantastic game from him. I guess that kind of leads you to where the man of the match might be going for this one. But it was a great build-up play off that turnover, and that's something that Tottenham has been accustomed to doing this year, finding ways off of turnovers on the counterattack to get goals. Their set-piece defending may not be good, but their counterattacking has been one of the better in the league this year. As that one put Tottenham up 1-0, and truly there was really no looking back from that. And like I said, Sheffield had two opportunities in this game, both within the first 10 minutes. They barely saw any other chances in this game. 21st minute, a nice feed into the box for Kulusevski. He almost has his second goal of the game. Goes right into Fotheringham's hands, is still 1-0. But, I mean, Tottenham were on the attack most of this game. We'll see it with the possession numbers. It ended up being 76% of possession was with Tottenham today. That gives you quite an idea of how this game played out. Tottenham almost had a third or a second, I should say, in the 29th minute. It was, I believe, Rodrigo Bentancur off a corner right at the top of the box, kicks it off the post. It gets back into the mixer, gets to Son. Son kicks it off the post. It was a Fotheringham save, I should say. It was a Fotheringham save. It keeps this game 1-0. Tottenham easily by the 30th minute could have been up 3-0 in this game, yet it's only 1-0. After some fantastic saves and some also bad luck, because if you hit the post, it's bad luck. But Tottenham would take a 1-0 lead into the halftime break. Obviously, it really felt like they probably should have been more ahead. Obviously, they weren't, but I feel like a lot of Tottenham eyes after that first goal started looking elsewhere, especially with the title race. Man City was up 1-0 after 2 minutes, and I mean that kind of ended that. At half, they were up 2-1. Arsenal, I believe, were drawing at that point 1-1, and it was known that the title was over. So, I mean, you can enjoy the Tottenham game. We come back out for the second half. It was more of the same of the first half. Tottenham continually on the pressure. We get to the 59th minute. Pedro Porro, what a screamer of a shot. He comes running in to the box. I mean, I believe it was Brendan Johnson was right on the edge of the touchline. He kicks it back towards Porro. Porro just launches it straight into the back of the net. It's 2-0 Tottenham. More than deserved, obviously. But, I mean, we do have to have a discussion. Pedro Porro only scores bangers. That truly seems to be the truth. I've never seen this dude just score a normal goal. All his goals are just absolutely sensational screamers. And that's why he is one of the players of the season for me for this Tottenham side. Obviously, we will do awards and all kinds of stuff like that later in a future episode, probably sometime this week. But Pedro Porro, a massive step up this year. He has just gelled perfectly into this Ange Postecoglou system. And, yes, you can't take a lot from this game given that this was a side that, I mean, they conceded 102 goals coming into this game, which is a Premier League record. This Sheffield team is not good. They're going down for a reason. They finished bottom of the table for a reason. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But we move on, 65th minute, a nice Son cross into the box. I believe that got to Madison, who gets it to Dejan Kulusevski, who's streaming in right at the goalkeeper. Kulusevski taps it in. It's 3-0 Tottenham. And that would be all she wrote for the 2023-24 Tottenham Hotspur season. Tottenham Hotspur walk away with a 3-0 victory. They finish 5th in the Premier League, which is it is clear and good enough for a Europa League spot. I mean, if you told us that back in August, I think everybody would have gladly accepted that. Coming off of last year, 8th place, especially coming into this year too. You lose your best player in Harry Kane. Finishing in 5th, 2 points off of Champions League place, which I know there will be a lot of discussion about that with the way Aston Villa played and how they lost 5-0 today to Crystal Palace. But 5th place, I'm happy with 5th place. Europa League, I think it's a better opportunity for us next year. But Tottenham finished this year. They finished 20 wins, 6 draws, 12 losses. 12 losses. Some of those just fell apart at the end. But, finishing on 66 points, like I said, 2 points out of a Champions League spot, 2 points out of 4th place. I consider it a win for this season, honestly. Like I said, there was a lot of questions coming into this year. There was a lot of doubt coming into this year. If you would have told us at the beginning of the year, give us 5th place, I think we'd all accept it. I think this team is prepared for another jump next year if the summer is invested well. Obviously, that's never a guarantee, but hopefully the summer is invested in well. Ange Postecoglou is back, and maybe they can make a run at, a Carabao Cup or a FA Cup or the Europa League. I truly don't expect to win the league as long as Pep Guardiola is manager of Manchester City. He is that guy. He just absolutely dominating, obviously. There's a whole question about the 115 charges from the Premier League. I get that. I don't really know if anything ever truly comes of that. I know it came of that for, Everton and Nottingham Forest this year, so maybe we start getting that for City soon. Who knows? But honestly, 5th place, I'm happy with it. Europa League, like I said, I think there's a better shot of us in the Europa League next year than it would be for us in the Champions League. So let's take one final look at the stats from this game this year. Like I said, Tottenham had 76% possession in this game, which is just an insane number. That's how bad of football Sheffield United play, which we saw that earlier in this season when they played at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Those numbers were the same, but it took 2 stoppage time goals for Tottenham to win that game, and it was a 2-1 final. 18 total shots for Tottenham in this game. It was only 6 for the Blades of Sheffield United. Only 1 shot of those were on target for Tottenham. That number was 9. Shots in the box, it was a 14-3 advantage for Tottenham, and it was a 4-3 advantage for shots outside the box. I'm not surprised by that number. When you only have 24% possession in a game, you're not going to have many shots, obviously. Expected goals, they're what you would expect. Sheffield United sit at 0.98 compared to Tottenham's 3.15. Again, you kind of expected that with the way this game played out in the two very opposing styles of football. Passes in this game, 218 for Sheffield United, with only 73% of those being completed, or accurate, I should say, as it was only 159 accurate passes. Compared to Tottenham's 697, where 632 of those were completed for a 91% accuracy rate. 11 fouls for Sheffield United in this game, equaling in 2 yellow cards. 9 fouls for Tottenham in this game. No yellow cards for them. 2 corners in total for Sheffield United, with a 6 number being put up by Tottenham in this game. So once again, for one more final time, let's do a player rating. As always, we start up at the top. Heung-min's son, the captain, he earns an 8.6 in this game. Had an assist in this game. This felt like a good way to close out the season for him. It was much better performance than we've seen in the past few weeks. It just, some of the performances haven't been there, and that did get a little bit worrying. But obviously, you're going up against a team that's already been relegated. They've obviously had one of the worst seasons on record in Premier League history. So, I mean, of course, you're going to expect a good performance from one of your top players. Brendan Johnson earns a 7.8. I thought he had a really good game to close out the season. I mean, I know that he did have some rough spots this season, but for a player that came in on deadline day at the end of the summer transfer window, I think he's had a fantastic first season for Spurs. I think he's only going to get better. Kind of felt like he was a little bit of an investment piece, a little bit. Like he's going to get better. And that price tag maybe looks good a few years down the line. But to close out this season, I thought he had a really, really good game. Earns a 7.8. Dejan Kulusevski, 9.2, man of the match, 2 goals. I mean, what else can be said? He had a very good game. I know I was one of the doubters these past few weeks, asking where he's been, because he hasn't been at Tottenham games, because he's just not looked great. Now, again, this is up against bad competition, but I still, putting up 2 goals, probably could add 3 or 4. Very, very good game. Earns 9.2, earns man of the match. James Maddison, he's another one of those players where these past few weeks have not been kind to him, to say the least. He has not looked like the signing we saw at the beginning of the season. He earns an 8.3, though, to close out this season. I thought it was a quite good performance from him. He gets an assist on what was the 3rd goal of the game. So, close out the season on a high note. Popstar, one of the more improved players of this season, earns a 7.3. I mean, he is one of the lower scoring players on this team, but you still can't say enough about the impact he's had this year. I mean, we did see it when he went away in January for the African Cup of Nations. He was sorely missed, but earns a 7.3 in this game. Rodrigo Bentancur, another one of those that was like, I don't know if he's going to get back to where he was, when he was pre-injury, because this season didn't have a full season coming off that injury. But here we are, here in 7.6, one of his better performances this season, which probably says something, but still, it was still a very good performance. Earns a 7.6. And then we get to this back line. We have to find depth this off season. But obviously Destiny Udogie went down at the end of the year with an injury. He'll be back next year. But if all else fails, we have found our back four if Udogie goes down again. Van de Ven playing at the left wing back position. You got Dragusin and Romero up the middle in the center backs, and then you have Porro at the right wing back. That we've been asking for this since Udogie went down. We got it in the final 2 games. It has worked perfectly. Honestly, it has looked very good. Van de Ven earns a 7.8. He honestly might be the signing of the season. We'll, like I said, get into that at a later date, but he has a very good case of being the signing of the season. Dragusin, he didn't get as much playing time this year as I think people expected when we signed him in the January window, but I still see a good future for him. He's put on some good performances. He's made some crucial saves, and he looks to be a big part of Tottenham's future. Christian Romero, I think this year fell in love with Tottenham Hotspur. I think at the end of last year, and this was the case for a lot of players. I think they kind of fell out of love with what happened with Conte, and it was something else. But Romero, he has been a crucial part of this year. And that is just absolutely huge for this Tottenham Hotspur team moving forward. Pedro Porro, he has a goal in this game, earns an 8.7. Again, not much can be said that hasn't already been said. This dude is absolutely amazing at his position and in this Postecoglou type football. Vicario earns a 7.5. He truly only faced the one shot on target this game, but hey, what else can you say? We have substitutions. 2 of these players we probably aren't going to see next year. One of them being Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg, a great servant to this club. He earns a 6.5 for the roughly 30 minutes he played with stoppage time being added on. He's been a good servant to this club. Wish him all the best in the future. I don't see a future for him with Tottenham. Oliver Skipp, he 100% will most likely be back next year just because he is one of our own. And, Europa League coming up, you got to have that homegrown talent and all that kind of stuff. So looking forward to him next year. Hopefully progressing a little under Ange Postecoglou's system. Emerson Royale is the other one I truly probably don't expect to see next year. Here's 6.5 in this game also. He truly will be missed, honestly. He's been one of the more fun Tottenham players. Obviously, he hasn't been the best footballer, but he's one of the funner players, what seems to be one of the funner players off the pitch. And it seems like he's being targeted in Italy and Germany and maybe Saudi Arabia. So I do wish Emerson all the luck if he does so choose to leave Tottenham Hotspur at the end of this year. Mikey Moore and Dane Scarlett both got subbed on in the 88th minute. Obviously not enough for a ranking, but it does give a little bit of glimpse into our future. I am so excited for those two. I cannot wait to see them play more for Tottenham Hotspur. And Ange Postecoglou, he earns an 8 in this game. Obviously, there wasn't much you could do in this game to really earn a bad rating except lose, and obviously they didn't do that. So he earns an 8. I think a very well put together first season for him. He is the first Tottenham Hotspur manager to finish out a full season since Mauricio Pochettino in the 2018-19 season. Yes, it has been 5 full seasons since we have had one manager finish all 38 games. That is absolutely insane to say. But here we are. I don't know. That's going to wrap it up for at least game reviews of Top of the Perch this year. Like I said, probably later this week we'll do a end of season recap and all that stuff. And then no Tottenham Hotspur till August. At some points it does feel like that is a welcome break. But at some points I'm sure we'll get to July and it will be like, I just want Tottenham back. That's all I want as the new signings come in, hopefully. So that wraps up this 2023-24 Premier League season. Manchester City are your champions. Second place, Arsenal. Third place is Liverpool as the Jurgen Klopp era ends in Liverpool. That good luck to him and his future endeavors in retirement. Fourth place, Aston Villa, clinching Champions League football for the first time in Premier League history for them. Obviously, they are European Cup champions. Tottenham Hotspur finishing in 5th in that Europa League spot. As of now, Chelsea, they finished 6th. They're clinched European football. As of now, they are in the Europa Conference League. If Manchester City win the Europa League, or win the FA Cup, I should say, on Saturday, Chelsea will go to the Europa League, and it will be Newcastle United going to the Europa Conference League, who finished in 7th place. 8th place is Manchester United. 9th place is West Ham. 10th is a surging Crystal Palace team. This team looked absolutely outstanding at the end of the year. I mean, they were kind of getting in the relegation battle in November and December. Roy Hodgson finally let go. They bring in Oliver Glasner. Of course, he won the Europa League at Eintracht Frankfurt. An outstanding finish to the season for the Eagles of Crystal Palace. Brighton finished in 11th. The Roberto De Zerbi era ends at Brighton. Who knows what's next for him? I kind of didn't see that change coming, but hey. 12th, Bournemouth finished in 12th, one of their highest Premier League finishes ever. Fulham finished in 13th. Wolves finished in 14th. Just a great job by Gary O'Neill this season. 15th is Everton. They finished on 40 points, even though they had 8 points deducted due to the financial fair play regulations. 16th is Brentford, who kind of started getting in the mix for that relegation battle near the end of the season. Nottingham Forest finished in 17th. They had 4 points deducted. And then your relegated teams are the same 3 teams that came up this year. Luton Town finished 18th. Burnley finished 19th. And in 20th is the Sheffield United team we just watched, who conceded 104 goals this year. They only scored 35, which means their goal differential was a negative 69. They finished on 16 points, which is one of the lower ones in Premier League history. So that just shows how bad the Sheffield team has been. So that wraps it up for Top of the Perch for this year. Of course, it's a short break. And then, we got a little something coming up this summer. I don't know if you've heard. We are 26 days away from the Euros and 32 days away from the Copa America. Of course, that will all be covered live-ish here on the Nick Bird Sports Network. Can't wait for those two to come along because we are going to have a fun summer. International football, it is so perfect. So thank you so much for tuning in all this season to Top of the Perch. Like I said, we'll be back sometime this week, recap it all. But thank you so much for watching. If you just stumbled across this video, click like, click subscribe. Even though the Tottenham season is over, the soccer season's never over. It's a continual 365 days of the year thing. Content will be flowing in June and July when these two tournaments get running. I cannot wait for it. Started looking at schedules today. I'm so excited for some of these matchups. So make sure you click like, click subscribe. Make sure you see all those videos that are going to be coming very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again soon in some video form or another on the Network Sports Network and for Top of the Perch.